Hi everyone, Nova here from Brighter Outlook Narcissist Abuse Recovery Counselling Service. Oh my goodness, I had a massive blank. Isn't that terrible when you can't even remember the name of your own service? Hi everyone and welcome back. It's awesome to have you here. As you join, everyone, please just say whereabouts in the world you're tuning in from, and just say hi so we can say hi back. We've got David Demars joining us once again. We have the pleasure of David co-hosting the show, and David will be joining us from Las Vegas. So he'll be here shortly and I'll let him in as soon as I see him. So while I'm just waiting for all the comments to load up, I thought I'd just say a little bit about me for those of you who don't know, or perhaps you've just started following Brighter Outlook already. We've got Rebecca Kopp there from Sydney. Hey Rebecca, I'm a professional counsellor on the north side of Brisbane in Queensland, Australia, but I counsel people via Skype and telephone all over the world, and my area of expertise, as well as my absolute passion, is to work with people to help, to support victims and survivors, people just like you, who have been traumatized by a narcissist. So if that's something that you would like to do, to have that bit of that one-on-one support, and you would like to book a counselling session with me, please just inbox me here at Brighter Outlook, and I'd love to be able to support you in your healing journey. Okay, we've got Beck Sargentson says hi from. I think you forgot the last bit there, Bex. So that's all I can see at the moment. So I was a bit. We had a few glitches last week with Facebook and just letting David in. So I'm just wondering if he's sitting there in the background again, and I just can't see him. But anyway, we've got Rebecca Millard is there. Says hey Nova. Hey Rebecca. Wonderful to have you back. Okay, while we're waiting for David and while I'm waiting for all of your questions to load, that's another thing, guys. This is a question, answer and support session around narcissistic abuse. So please just comment your questions below, and David and I will answer as many as we possibly can. We never have time to answer everyone's because of the volume, and because they float away so quickly as well, but we certainly do try and answer as many as we possibly can. So just comment your questions below and talk to each other. This is a really good way of supporting each other. You're all at different stages in your healing journey. Some have just left, some have been out of that trauma zone for quite a while, a few years, and others are still in it and are looking for guidance to break free from that trauma. And often there's a lot of fear, well, not often, probably most of the time, there's a great deal of fear in breaking that connection with their abuser, and that's what I always like you to refer to them as, is your abuser. This person has psychologically, emotionally abused you, destroyed your life, attempted to destroy your life. You're now a survivor. And just because you don't have broken bones, black eyes, doesn't mean that that you weren't abused. And this is, I guess, what we have to educate people, other than you, of course, in the community around, is that abuse is not just on the outside. It's not just physical, and it entails so much more. And narcissistic abuse, I believe, encompasses everything to do with psychological and emotional abuse, which it encompasses things like financial abuse, that goes hand in hand. When you're in an intimate relationship with the narcissist, you will find that there's always financial abuse on some kind of level, and often you don't know that this is abuse, and the abuser will say to you that whatever they're doing is occurring under the guise of caring and doing what's best for you. But what you don't realize is that your boundaries have been managed down so far that you have been conditioned to think that you're not capable of looking after yourself. So yeah, as you guys know, they're very, very manipulative, and when they engage in things like financial abuse, they've already set the scene. They've made you feel like you're not very good at that sort of thing, and that they'll take care of you. And of course, this starts the cycle, and like the fish jumping in the frog jumping in the bowl of tepid water, that water starts boiling, and you don't have the strength or the energy to jump out because the abuse has occurred so gradually and just so insidiously. It's just so important to get the word out there, everyone, that that narcissistic abuse destroys lives, and it most of the time occurs under the radar. It's covert, and other people don't see it. I'm just going to have a quick look for Dave. Oh, there he is. He's here. I can see him. Leaving your narcissistic. Oh, hold on. I'm not supposed to talk while Dave's. Hey, David.
Hello.
How you going?
Good. How are you
That's
going?
right. You're not going anywhere.
Nowhere.
You're going to stay right there, aren't you?
I'm going to.
I hope so. Okay. Oh, excuse me. David, we've got a few people joining here. So, I was just talking a little bit about, I don't know, I guess I started babbling as I do, about the fact that narcissistic abuse is most of the time it's so covert, we don't know it's there. And we need to get the word out there that this is abuse. And just because you don't have, broken bones and you can't see the abuse, doesn't mean it's not real, and that's why it's often overlooked by other people and hard to explain to others.
I think it could be even more embarrassing and shameful and things like this, can't it? Without any scars, no blood, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna ask you. Can you imagine for a bloke, like a man, how it would be? I would imagine it would be even harder, because there's no bruises, there's no marks, and you've got to go and tell people that, hey, this woman, psychologically and emotionally abused me. It's got to be even harder for a man to get that message out there.
Very, very hard, to the point where you don't want to try. A lot of men just don't bother. Yeah. Bury that. Be more and more and more ashamed of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is why the stats, the statistics are so skewed. They're so unreliable because men don't come forward. And there's a lot of reasons they don't come forward. They don't trust that they'll be helped. They don't, if they do, it's kind of a lose-lose situation. If you do, there's that, the possibility you'll get ridiculed, like, oh, mate, come on, yeah, what, she's teasing you, walk away, that type of thing, where the macho bloke should be able to just walk away from a woman if she's abusing you. And so there's that ridicule they face. If they do come forward, they won't be believed, and if they don't come forward, they obviously put up with the abuse, because as we know, it's extremely hard to break away from narcissistic abuse with no help, with no support.
Yeah, I've seen female narcissists say, "Oh, how could I abuse him? He's saying I abuse him. Isn't that funny? Me abusing a man? How's that possible?" I've seen female narcissists type that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that Joker card they hold, isn't it? It's like get out of jail free card. Hey, how could I possibly abuse? Because I'm a woman, and we know narcissistic abuse is not gender specific. There are just as many female narcissists. we just don't hear about them because of the way society's been set up to make it very, very difficult for men to talk about emotional, even physical abuse, but more so psychological abuse.
Yeah, less men look for even answers. They're supposed to have them all, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Such a good point is that men have been raised to you don't ask people for help. You just work it out yourself. You don't go to a counselor and talk about stuff. You don't even ask someone for directions. You're better off getting lost than risk the embarrassment of asking for guidance. That's something that is slowly changing, thank goodness. But yeah, it has been that's the way men are raised. You don't cry either. Get over it. You're a man.
Yeah, we got to be the strong provider. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, got to be harder to come forward about psychological abuse. That's for sure.
Well, I've
Yeah.
seen it. I mean, you can see it. You can see it in this community. You can see it with the work that you do and I do, and you can tell that less men come forward. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, I'll just start saying hello to a few people. I know we've got a few more joining. I've seen a few men, which is wonderful. Okay, we've got Jane Mobsby is there. Sorry, Carolyn Mobsby from Brisbane. We've got, hey, Carolyn, we've got Diane McClellan is there. Hey, Diane, and hey, Gemma. We've got, Gemma says evening, Nova. And who else? We've got Leaving Your Narcissist Go No Contact is there. Hello. And Rebecca Cox says, hey, David. We've got David Bridger there. Hey, David. Andrew Ferguson is there. And Andrew says, David was the first person I ever saw put a name to my 15 years of abuse. Thank you, David.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
I've got Charlene Satine is there. Hey, Charlene. Kimberly Hayes Hultgren is there. And we've got, that's all I can see at the moment. Okay, so start answer. Oh, sorry. We better introduce the topic we were going to talk about tonight. I'm going to let you do that, David.
Okay, sure. I chose the topic of being judgmental. Why do narcissists judge people? And I mean, really, why do people judge people? It's not just exclusive to narcissists, right? We all have been guilty of it, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but that's the topic. Why do narcissists judge people? And I wanted to dive into, what's going on inside their heads when they're judging people all the time, being critical, right? Why they
Yeah.
devalue us and things like this. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that the devaluation, and of the ultimate discard is the result of their judgment and why they judge
Absolutely.
you to be of no use to them anymore or somehow deficit.
Right, right. To just the term discard, right? I mean, just throwing away a piece of garbage that has no more value to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or we use those three terms, don't we? Love bomb, to describe the cycle they go through. Love bomb, devalue, discard. But yeah, I think we need to add the last one on there, which is destroy. They never just discard you and go away, or 99% of the time they don't just go away. We've got to add, yeah, the last D to that, which is destroy. And why would they destroy you? Because of the way they've judged you.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Well, why do they judge? It's they judge themselves, right? Everything's on a value system. I wrote this: no actualized self, living in primal fear, totally selfish, placing people on a value system, splitting people into either good or bad. That's just, I think, the basis of it. Good or
Yeah.
bad. And people are guilty of this all the time, putting everything on a good or bad value system. And what is that? That's theirs. That's their perspective. And that's a selfish perspective, isn't it? Because
Mhm.
what I think is good, you may think is bad. bad, good, right? Doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's that what we call object constancy. You're either black or you're white, you're good or you're bad. There's no in between. That's why when you fall off that pedestal from when they're love bombing you, you are now all bad, and you are of no use to them.
Yeah, right, right. And so what is judging others? And it's really complaining, isn't it? Complaining that my life is wrong, bad. I can't fix it. I don't have control over it. I don't like it. I'm not comfortable. I'm not happy, everybody. Everybody asks me, well, are they happy? They look happy. Are they happy with somebody else? Well, are they judgmental? Then they're not happy. Period.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
words don't match the actions, do they?
No, right. I'm happy as I criticize everything in my life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So where does this come from? I think it starts with some source, some type of inferiority complex. I think that's what narcissists have. Some degree. I think you could put that on a spectrum, right? Everybody's somewhere,
Oh,
but I think
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, I think it starts with feelings of inferiority, at least inadequacy, and they overcompensate with ego. So they live in a world where who they are is based on what people see, right?
Yeah.
So they criticize themselves, they judge themselves, so they judge everybody and everything,
Yeah.
everything. And if you judge people and judge things, then you cannot be happy. You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes.
Negativity. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it comes from that air of superiority. If you're up here all the time, if you're superior to everyone else, and we know this is one of the traits of the narcissist, that grandiosity, that omnipotence, I'm superior to everyone else, which is a coping mechanism, keeps them from reflecting on that insipid true self. If you're superior to everyone else, then you can only, if you're at the top of the mountain, you can only look down, can't you? So everyone else is beneath you. So if you're superior, you are always going to be judging everyone by contrast to yourself.
That's right. That's right. And the only reason you do that is because you feel really down here,
Yeah,
right? I'm not equal. I'm down here. I need to overcompensate. I need to do more, better. I need to be better than everybody else. That's what the whole competition, right?
yeah,
Always
yeah,
competing. Negativity, pessimism equals critical, 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 right? Criticize people, criticize everything. Negative pessimism, I think, just means that you criticize everything, everybody, right? Not accepting yourself, I think is what
yeah,
it is. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. They go through their lives judging people, and certainly once they come off that pink cloud where they think you're amazing, and the only reason you do come off that pink cloud is because they've shown a crack, in their facade, and so that's when that they start judging you as all bad. I guess most people would ask the question though, why why do they not just let us go then? If they're judging us as all bad, why do they go through, that process with us of the push pull, keeping us um, locked in this like vicious cycle if they're judging us as all bad?
Yeah, I think that whole value system, right? There's something of value still left. They
Yeah,
see that maybe it's an attachment. Maybe it's a fear of some fear, abandonment, rejection, something like this, that they feel like they still have some kind of value. Maybe
yeah,
because they don't have a self, that how you respond to their relationship defines who they are, maybe,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
An endless, just, well, to us, just an awful life, where really they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, because they judge you because they have this high sense of superiority. So they judge you to be this, terrible person who they really don't like. They despise the fact that they need you. So that's where they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, because they actually despise, the fact that they need you. There is no love there, and so they're judging you, but they can't let you go because you are providing them with, as you said, the value slash narcissistic supply they need to maintain that level of superiority. So it's a vicious cycle that they go through.
Totally. I mean, look at, how much importance is put on who breaks up with who. So important to them. That matters so much. So much. That decides who I am. That decides my value. If I break
Yeah.
up with you, you break up with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, don't we hear that all the time that if the victims manage to break away somehow, that the narcissist will pull out every stop to hoover them back, simply, and most of the time unbeknownst to the victim if they're actually going back, simply so that they can punish them and discard them on their terms, because you've committed the most horrific sin, and you will be judged as having committed, the most horrific sin by thinking that you can leave and geez, move on without them and heal and be happy. That's the ultimate sin against them, because it renders the narcissist insignificant. It means I don't need you. You're not important to me. So they want to hook you back in so that they can discard you on their terms.
Yep, that's right.
Punishment, of course.
Yeah, they'll rewrite a narrative to one that they can live with. They can live with themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that puts them at the top of the mountain. Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, well, we might start answering some questions. I'll just see who's here. Okay, we've got Rebecca Kopp is there. Hey, Rebecca. Rebecca says, why are the courts so slow? There should be a domestic violence court for women, children, men, LGBT Qs. Yeah, I wish, Rebecca, that it was a lot faster than it is. There's just, there's no recognition, there's no prioritizing this type of abuse in court, and I guess they prioritize cases that are visibly bad, that they can see the abuse. I guess that makes the people in power feel better that they've done something, and it's hard for them to and I guess takes lots of resources to delve into the covert abuse, and they're not as accountable for that stuff. So it's an excruciating long wait for people, and because there are no bruises, you guys get put to the back burner, and I wish it were different. Okay, we've got Rebecca Millard is there. Rebecca says, my ex is definitely a narcissist. He has a new partner now who has 3 children. We have 2 together. He is now dedicating all his time, money, etc. to her and her children. And I am nearly lost you there. And I am so worried about that. Let me just open up your question. Oh gosh, it's a long one. I am so worried about the impact this is having on my kids. They often come home from visits telling me the negative things he says about me to them and the new partner. And it's not right at all. He refuses to communicate with me. And when dropping the boys home on Sunday, he purposely baited me. And when I reacted to try to get him out of my house and off my property, I did knew him to push him out of my doorway. He called the police on me in front of our children. They were so traumatized and upset. It honestly makes me so sick. David, did you want to respond to Rebecca?
Well, I'm sorry, Rebecca. That's awful. Awfully traumatizing for everybody. This is a legal issue. Try and work more with your lawyer. And I mean, we see this all the time. And, you know, there's legal issues you need to deal with, but on an emotional level, try to keep him out of your life. Try not to communicate with him as much in person or on the phone and stuff like this. Try to communicate over emails only, and try to. I mean, all I can do is give you tons of advice. We don't fight back. Don't say bad things about dad to the children. Try to make the children understand what's wrong with dad and how to deal with dad. Be a rock solid base for them, and don't overcompensate. Just be stable, healthy, loving, stuff like this. Document everything that happens, everything he does and says, and the way you feel, and document things that your children are telling you. Okay, but most of this you take up with your lawyer, because your lawyer is the one who's seen and been through this and stuff, that there's things that they can do to, and advice they can give you, and stipulations they can put in the visitation so you don't have to see him.
Yeah. Yeah, great advice there. Yeah, I'd get him out of your doorway, Rebecca. If this has happened once, it's going to happen again. There's got to be some other way to do pickups and drop-offs where you don't see each other. Contact centres are getting a third party involved, but obviously, he's pushed your buttons and you've reacted to that abuse, which happens so often, and this is the repercussions of that. So yeah, as David said, no contact. And I know sometimes that's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think try not to let children ever see emotional reactions to all of this. And that's why we go get professional help, and tell your therapist or whoever you're seeing about these emotional stressors and ways that you can deal with them. But don't fight back with dad, and never let the children see anything or how it makes you feel. Okay, don't make them be there for you and comfort you. They're going through a big time stress in their life too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I've got Jane Lobsby or Carolyn is there. Says, I now know of 2 cases just in my social circle of a narc female abusing their partner. Yeah, that's why we talk about it so often, because just, I guess, the prevalence of women coming to these support groups, and I guess female clients that David and I see, and but we just don't hear enough about the male victims, not on I guess a social media platform that's out there to everyone. It's certainly on a more private level we do, but once again, men are just have been conditioned not to talk about this stuff, and it's really, really hard for them because females can be just as psychologically manipulative as men and do just as much damage.
I've actually seen a support group for marriage, spousal abuse. And I saw a man tell his story, and he was shamed out of the group by women. His story was no more different or unique than anybody else's. It was just same thing. I'm being abused just like you are, and they're saying you're a man. This is ridiculous. Yeah, pretty sad.
Very sad. Okay. What else have we got here tonight? We got Tracy Walker there. Is Tracy's there tonight? Hey Tracy, how you going? And we've got Lizzie James. Hey Lizzie. Lizzie says, oh yes, I was leaving and he convinced me to stay so he could leave when his new woman was ready to take him on. Oh wow, that is just classic textbook, isn't it, David? I hear that all the time, where you might be, they recognise that you're ready to go. You've been abused so much, and you say, "Oh, look, I'm out of here. I can't stand it anymore." So they'll hoover you back in, love bomb you a little bit, throw you out some breadcrumbs, because they just haven't quite secured the new partner yet. And as we know, they do not like to move on unless there's a new supply to go to. So yeah, if they haven't got that new target definitely lined up, they will convince you to stay only so that they can leave when they're ready. It's just textbook, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what being judgmental does. That's the product of being judgmental. Things cycle. We go, things are so good and then so bad, and you're always going to need a new one. Always, always, always. And it goes with everything, objects and people, relationships. If you're judgmental, whatever you have will never be good enough eventually. And that's
Yeah,
yourself, and that's the people around you, all of it, everything. So that's why they will always cycle with new people, new people, new people. It's because they're so extremely judgmental.
yeah,
Yeah. And then judgmental is an absolute narcissistic trait. It's one of the 9 narcissistic diagnostic traits. If you're extremely judgmental person, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. That's it right there. You're up on that spectrum of narcissism, a little higher, and that's the spectrum that everybody hates, narcissism, right? So
yeah,
the more judgmental you are, and that's including judging narcissists, right? That's the same thing. We can't judge people. It doesn't turn out well for you. It really
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah. Absolutely. And it's so confusing to victims, when they're being judged by, the narcissist in their life, because they are being judged on some or something, or by some standard that the narcissist walks all over. It's like, well, I can do this, but you can't do that. And this is just this is crazy making. This is gaslighting at its finest. I had this just sprung to my mind. A woman come to see me a couple of weeks ago, and she said, I was just about to leave. I was about to walk out the door. And he started crying, going, how can you do this to our kids? You can't just leave. Our kids will be devastated if their mum and dad break up. You can't leave. And of course, pulled at, her empathy strings and tugged at, her heart. And I guess went for that chink in her armor, which was her children. And of course, she acquiesced and she stayed in the abusive relationship. What happened? 2 weeks after that, he took off with the new supply. He, just as we were just talking about, had not quite secured her. But as it turned out, when she did her investigating, he'd been seeing this woman for nearly a year. So he's, pulling out all stops to keep her there on ice just until he had secured the new supply. And this is one of the things that just does your head in, I guess, as a person who's been discarded.
And yeah, totally. And look how easy it is to shame someone who's been a victim of abuse, someone whose self-worth is so low, who's kind of lost their self, will care about what people think and how they get judged. And that's what they do. Narcissists will use shame, judgment, won't they?
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of the time, that the shame is there from childhood, but they will create more and they will pick at those wounds. Whatever wounds you have, they will reflect them back to you. That's for sure. The narcissists will. So they create more shame, or they escalate that shame. And as you said, they judge you by it. They use it against you.
Oh, totally. I mean, many people's core vulnerability is fear of failure, not deprivation. It's I can lose everything in my life, which would be horrible, but I'm more worried about what people think if they see it. They know that I'm a
Yeah,
failure. Yeah, it's people's core vulnerability.
yeah. Especially with regard to the relationship, and when they're having it drummed into their head by the narcissist that you're a bad person, or you're a bad mother, or you're a bad father if you leave, because this will hurt our reputation, it will hurt the kids. Then yeah, that's there's going to be that I guess really that 1950s 1960s mentality that that you don't break up the family and you keep, you keep all the abuse hidden inside those four walls. But I guess on the flip side of that, talking about fear of failure, I've also heard about fear of success when people, when victim survivors come out of these relationships, they're scared to try anything. They're they're very, very fearful that if they do succeed in anything, that something bad will happen, because that was always the case with their abuser. Uh, as you know, they destroy anything that's good in your life, anything that you're excited about or you're happy about. Perhaps you're going to a job interview, or that you're really looking forward to, or you've got I don't know, a holiday planned or something. They will, or you're going to university, you're going to do something for yourself. They will make you feel so selfish. They will create drama. They will do something to make you feel bad about achieving anything. So what this does is it creates a subconscious pairing of success and fear. And that something horrible is going to happen if I do something for myself. If something good happens in my life, something bad's going to come along and destroy that. So there's that real fear of trying again.
Yeah, totally. That's a great point. Awesome point. And I made a video once, CPTSD, expecting the worst. That's kind of that feeling, that mentality, attitude that we have with CPTSD, right? Always expecting the worst. Oh, it's good, bad is right around the corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Conditioning,
That's
conditioned
it.
response. Yeah.
Sense of dread that that you're not allowed to have anything nice happen to you, and if you even dare to think that way, it's going to be, you're going to have mass anxiety anyway. So it's just, yeah, not good. Okay, we've got Kylie Hardgrave is there. Hey, Kylie. We've got Susie Potts is there. Hi, Susie. Susie says, Nova, thank you so much for all of your help. I have made so much progress and remain no contact for 4 months. It gets easier every day. I am so glad. Dave and I both just, yeah, in raptures about that, Susie. That's what these, live streams are all about, is about creating awareness and helping you to do just that, to remain away from your abuser and further down the track on your healing journey. So that's great news and very inspiring for everyone else. Yeah. Okay, we've got San Giorgio there. Hey, San. Let me just open your question up. Okay. San says, hi, Nova and David. Love you both. I listen to David's YouTube channel every morning to keep me going. Is there a karma bus? I don't know, but if there is, I think there'd be more than one driver, or there'd be a lot of buses. Oh, don't we wish? Is there a karma bus? I'm just waiting for this karma bus to find him. I wish I knew where he will be picked up from so I can push him right under it. Sorry, still angry. I'm working on it with my side. Oh, Sam. It's okay to be angry. It's about not letting it consume you. Anger is part of the grieving process. It's okay to be angry. Just don't direct it at him, because he doesn't care. They thrive on your anger. So yeah, keep working and working and working and keep doing what you're doing and getting the support.
Yeah. Yeah. Try not to compare yourself to people at all, and realize that, the truth really, with people that have personality disorders, they're getting all the karma that they need.
Yeah,
You know,
you just,
The- the-
you're not seeing it. Just like people don't see your uh, the narcissistic abuse, the emotional psychological abuse. You don't see their karma. They wake up with it every morning. They're like, I always say this, but they're like a shark just swimming around. They never sleep. They are continuously looking for narcissistic supply, or they're just going to shrivel up, you know?
Yeah. The more you heal and recover from this relationship, the healthier you will be. And that perspective will really show you, you'll see how unhealthy they are, how unhealthy you were, and not much hope. They're not going to change. They're not looking to change, right? They're not gonna. So,
Yeah,
yeah. Karma gets them. Trust me, they're living in karma.
absolutely. We've got Tracy and Weirden is there from Tassie. Hey, Tracy. Catherine Jane Walker is there. Hi, Catherine. Catherine says, hi Nova, I had a letter sent to me after years. It wasn't nice, called me jealous, then said, if you don't stop, I will, sorry, and then said, if you don't stop, I will start. I took it, oh, sorry, I'm reading, you said it to him. Then said, if you don't stop, I will start. I took it to the police. It's been years since I've seen the narc or heard from him. Just open that up. Obviously, he didn't sign the letter. David, did you want to respond to that?
I don't really understand.
She just left out a few words. So what she's done, she's received a letter from the narc. It wasn't very nice. Called her jealous. Then she said to him, "If you don't stop, I will start." I took it to the police. It's been years since I've seen the narc or heard from him. Obviously, he didn't sign the letter. So basically, he's come back years down the track with a Hoover, a letter to get her to react, get back in her
That's right.
life, get back in her head.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, plain and simple. If I had enough respect for myself and enough esteem and self-worth and not so insecure and things like this, I could ask for things I want. I can contact somebody and just say hi, and I don't need a weird reason. I don't need, you know what I mean? I don't need, because what they do, they'll give you the accidental text. Oh, that was meant for someone else. Oh, I accidentally pocket dialed you, you know. It's like BS, BS, BS. Because they don't want, they're not going to take responsibility, they're not going to take accountability. Never, right?
Yeah,
They know they did something wrong, and they hate themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they've yeah, it's their way. It's just hoovering. It's their way of getting you to react, getting you to respond, and getting you to think about them again. And it worked to an extent. You got angry. Thank goodness you took it to the police because obviously you had very good reason. But you know, a lot of people may not do that. They may start thinking and then thinking and thinking again, perhaps remembering the good times. You know, which is, as you know, is really easy to do, is to cling on to those memories because it's too painful to think of the the bad stuff, which is actually the real stuff. So yeah, I'm glad you dealt with that, Catherine. And yeah, I guess there's not way you can't block letters really, can you, if they're coming from anonymous addresses. Like we can, you know, block their emails, block their texts, but letters are a bit differently. So obviously he's desperate. You know, that shows desperation to me, sending a letter, because you can't vet it, you can't block it like you can a phone call.
Yeah. And I mean, look at how we sit and wait for their Hoover, and we get so upset when they don't do it. And we put our self-worth and value in their hands. We place it into their hands. And so
Mm.
if they have the lowest self-esteem, they're doing the same thing, right? But they can't sit and wait. They don't have the ego won't let them. The ego won't let them call you up and say, "Hi, I miss you."
Yeah.
Or hi, everything I did was wrong to you. I'm sorry. Ego won't allow that, right? How they
Yeah.
feel about themselves can't do that. So a
Yeah.
simple tap, a nudge, get you to start contacting me. Tell me
Yeah.
how it's your fault. Tell me you're sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's manipulation, isn't it? I'll set this up so that it looks like you wanted this relationship to start again, whereas really this has all been a setup. I've manufactured this whole situation.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's a classic example. The accidental text. Oh, sorry, I was ringing someone else. I didn't mean to ring you, but now that I'm talking to you, how you going? Right? It's manufactured.
Yeah, most Hoovers is what it is I need to feel okay about myself, about the things I've done. This was a failed relationship and I was abusive, so I need to make sure I'm okay because they can't tell themselves that, right? So they go back to the relationship, and really, if I can just contact you 6 months later and you just say, "Hi, how are you?" and that's all you have to say, good, I'm okay, I'm in the clear, everything's fine, see you later. Really, that's the gist of most Hoovering, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
It's not necessarily about uh, getting you back into a relationship for whatever reason, whether that's so that they can discard you again, or they're just low on supply, and you look like a fresh source again. Um, it's hoovering is not just about getting positive attention. Hoovering is just as much about getting negative attention from you. If they can hoover you back in to make you angry, then they will. And a classic example of that is when there's kids involved, and you separate and you do your grey rock, you do your minimal contact, and they lose their source of supply. You're not reacting to any of their baiting anymore. So that's when they'll pull out the different hoovering strategies to suck you back in to reacting. And reacting is getting angry to them.
Mhm.
That's probably better than, well, it will be better than just being some ambivalent, nice person who's well mannered to them. They would rather have you frustrated and screaming and yelling. So that's also hoovering.
Yeah, and if you live your life ego based, I am what people see, I am what people say I am, right? Then they've judged you, they discard you, then they always have to go to someone else, don't they? They have to say, "Look, I'm happy. See, everything's fine. It was you. See, I'm with someone else and everything's fine now. See, so that was you." And so what happens is problems arise, usually about 6 months. That's why I tell people, when do they hoover? I usually say about 6 months typically. And so 6 months later into this new relationship, problems arise. Uh-oh, it might be me. It might be me, right? So they contact you and they get you to say everything's okay, even if that's you said nothing. You just said, "Hi, how are you?" You didn't bring up how bad I am. Cool, okay, it's not me. All right,
Yeah,
that's what they're
yeah,
doing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. They are maintaining, they're keeping their ego at an equilibrium.
Uh-huh. Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Simple, simple little creatures.
Yeah, really simple. Okay, we've got Love Kaisma there. Hello. Love says, so true what you just said. Anything I have touched or was excited about or something nice created was undermined, criticized, and eventually destroyed. With time, my passion and my enthusiasm was killed. And yeah, gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that, love, but yeah, your story is an example of how, yeah, you lose that enthusiasm, and you also fear having happiness and being successful because you've been criticized for it and undermined, and it's not been a happy experience you doing anything for yourself, so you stop trying, and this is what we have to undo when we come out of these relationships.
Yeah, you will lose yourself in a relationship with a narcissist because they don't care. They don't care about yourself. They don't care about who people are.
Yeah,
You cannot actualize yourself in a relationship with a narcissist. You cannot. Impossible.
yeah, they it's I still, I talk to people every day who say the same thing, is I just can't get my head around the fact that they could do that they could be so cruel. And it's when you're not that type of person, it is, if you don't know, haven't done your research, you haven't had that light bulb moment, it's mind boggling to think that they didn't feel about you the way you thought and the way you think about them. But yeah, we've got to remember they're not capable of love. And if we love someone, we're fond of them, we want to make sure that they're okay. We have empathy for them. We don't want to hurt them. We love the little things about them. We love all their little quirky things, like their little idiosyncrasies. We love their smile. We love their sense of humor. We love that they're funny. We love all those little things that make up who they are. Whereas the narcissist, you are just the whole. There's no all of those things that go to make up who you are. You are just that whole, which is an object. And you as an object sustain their ego. And it's incredibly hard to get your head around the fact that you didn't matter as a person to them.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think most victims need to understand that we admire uniqueness in people. It's important to us, and it's not to them. It's not. Anything different, out of the ordinary, stuff like this is wrong, ready to be judged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, we've got Marion Sears is there. Hey, Marion. Marion says, just open yours. Marion says, it's like dealing with two people. They move to degrade. Their eye contact is weird. Yep. I never feel peace with them. Heavy as mind games, I can't stand it. Takes so much energy to detangle. Seriously, like master chess players. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it, isn't it? It does your head in, trying to work out what they want from you.
Yeah, it's their own insecurities. Besides the fact that, childhood neglect means I'm not good at communicating what I want. Their shame won't allow them to feel worthy enough to ask for what they want, right? They chose to lie and manipulate early on in life to get what they want. It's their own
Yeah,
insecurities that make them do this.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
what kind of a person can't apologize? I'll say I'm sorry for things I didn't do, let alone things
Yeah,
I've done.
yeah. If you think it's hurt someone, that's what we do. That's called having empathy, and remorse. Empathy and remorse. A narcissist will certainly apologize, but it will just be lip service. It will just be what they think they want, that you want to hear, so that they can get what they want. You've got to look at everything they do. You've got to look at the motivation behind the behavior, the words. It's all ego driven. It's about them. It's not about making them you as the victim feel better. It's about what they want. And if they need to say sorry to get you on side, or to get you to shut up, whatever it is that they want from you, it's about them, not about you and making you feel better.
That's what an apology is. Trying to help you feel better. Yeah. Make them reassure you it won't happen again.
Yeah. And it's about changed behavior, isn't it? Apology is nothing without changed behavior. And of course, narcissists never change their behavior, or for a very, very brief short of time, just simply to manipulate you so that they can get back in the cycle.
Right. I'm sorry it happened instead of I'm sorry I did this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry you were offended by that. I'm sorry, but
I'm sorry
that's
you
not.
feel this way. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry you're so over dramatic. I'm sorry you're a drama queen and that you got hurt by that. It's always some way of shifting it back on to you, but certainly it's never sincere. Yeah. Okay. We got Sammy Larkus is there. Hey, Sammy. We've got Rhonda Hawksville is there. Hey, Rhonda, let me just open up your question. Okay. Rhonda says, hello, David and Nova. I have been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder after child trauma. I've been in many failed relationships, have a child from a narcissist. I'm so scared. I'm I'm so scared I'm the same as him. You mentioned keep away from borderline last week and have been worried since then. I have been single for 12 years because I'm scared of destroying relationships. David, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's help for you, help available. I strongly recommend seeking that help and getting that help and doing what professionals offer. DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. I've seen it help people with borderline personality disorder. There is hope for you. Everybody can better themselves. So don't let a label, be a judgment. Okay?
Clearly the difference with you, um, Rhonda, is that you have the ability to self-reflect, on your behavior, and which is, a lot of people with these personality disorders don't have that ability. If you don't have the ability to self-reflect on your behavior, why would you want to change? Because you can't see that you're doing anything wrong. So, I know that, David's mentioned a few things, but I know that there is help out there for people with borderline. And I know that childhood trauma impacts so great. It is largely responsible for what you're going through. So yeah, please get help. And yeah, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, wow, it's going to be just incredibly traumatic from you, because certainly they will be using that your attachment style and that need to feel, like you've got someone there with you all the time. They will be using that against you, and it would just be extremely traumatizing.
Yeah, a relationship with one personality is one thing, but a relationship with two personality disorders is disaster.
Yeah, yeah, the difference is that you do have that ability to reflect on your behaviour, and you have desire, to work through, your trauma and what's going on for you. Whereas the narcissist has no desire and no ability to reflect and go, you know, they're like, well, if I hurt you, you deserved it. It's all about the end justifies the means.
Yeah, narcissists aren't watching this video.
Well, if they are, it's to get something to use against people. That's, yeah. It's
Yeah,
certainly
I'm
not
sure there's
for
one.
any type of healing. It's just to gather ammo. So yeah, they
Yeah,
could be delivered. Okay, we've got Ian Palmer is there. Hey, Ian. Hello, David and Nova. Ian here from Brookfield, Brisbane, just down the road. How you going, Ian? Glad to see you. Okay. Da, 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 da. Sammy says, I have PTSD from my ex-narc. I can't believe how cruel they are. I went back so many times. I left finally 6 months ago, and he tried to get me back with all his sorries, tears, etc., only to find out, just open that up, only to find out he had someone on the side that he is now with. The healing on my part is such a struggle. David?
I'm sorry. Try to understand what your healing is. Try to understand everything you can about it. You might have CPTSD, a reoccurring trauma. This,
Yeah.
like you said, it might be more than just this relationship. Try to learn everything you can about your relationship you had and why it happened.
Mm.
That'll help you. You don't need to learn
Mm.
so much about the person that you dated. You need to learn about yourself. And the more you
Mm.
learn about your situation, what happened, the more information you get, the better you'll feel, the better you'll understand. Yeah, but
Mm.
there is hope. I know it just feels like that. I'm sorry. I made a playlist of videos called Healing CPTSD that might help you understand it better.
Yeah, everyone look for David's YouTube channel, Damar's Coaching, and as David said, he just made a playlist, so that might help you. And you'll find most of the time, David, that it is with narcissistic abuse, it is complex. Post PTSD is more about one event, whereas this is just an ongoing thing, and it's that a cumulative effect of the abuse. So it's far more complex than just one event.
Yeah, what I'm noticing, you guys, the addictive element in recovering from these relationships, right? The logically, I know that they're bad for me. I don't want them. I don't like them. I don't love them, but I need them. I need to see them. I want them. I'm calling them. I'm looking at their Facebook. I'm seeing what's going on. So there's that addictive element to that relationship. And I believe that starts early in childhood. I believe that there's got to be this rise and fall of our hormones beginning in childhood from neglect, from trauma, abuse, right? So, because I'm noticing that victims that have been in abusive relationships are looking at healthy people, and even the idea of a healthy relationship is boring. It's not up and down. My hormones don't go like this. It's not
Mm.
exciting. I know they're unhealthy, but I want that. Yeah. And I think that starts in childhood. I think neglect makes our hormones and stress go up and then go down and up and down and up and down. And I think we seek that out in life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that stimulation, that intensity that people feel in these relationships, they mistake as passion.
Yeah.
Like we see in the movies, where they come together in the end after all of this, terrible, I don't know, just terrible ups and downs, because it's so passionate. Whereas, in real life, that intensity, that roller coaster of, push pull, is extremely toxic, and certainly not healthy. And people don't live happily ever after, as we see in the movies. And what they're going through at the end of that movie is the honeymoon phase. When they've thrown you out some breadcrumbs, and you're in the eye of the storm.
Right. You have your highs and your lows, right? So if I just entered a bad relationship, here we go, good and bad again. If I just entered a bad relationship, then the next one that is good means that the highs were higher. I need to feel better than I just did. They need to be more amazing than the last relationship just was.
Yeah.
Or it's not my soulmate. It's not
Yeah.
Mr. or Mrs. Right.
That explains why people keep going from one domestic violent relationship to the next. That's such a good point. It's like we talk about it as an addiction, because it is an addiction. That's what we want. And that's why David and I talk about hormones and chemicals all the time, and this roller coaster of hormones. It's kind of like, people that start off small, with adrenaline, that rush. People that have got to go, skydiving and bungee jumping. I mean, I've done those too, but that's as far as I will go. But they will just keep pushing the boundaries, because that's no longer stimulating for them. It becomes, that becomes their baseline. So then they need to step it up and get more stimulation, and then that becomes their baseline and becomes, boring. And this goes on and on and on. And it's just a cycle of one abusive relationship to the next, and often, increasing in intensity.
Yeah, major symptom of PTSD and CPTSD is adrenal fatigue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cortisol not balanced. Cortisol, stress chemical, adrenaline, fatigue, you overused. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense, doesn't it? Your adrenal, adrenal fatigue, your adrenaline's been on overdrive, your cortisol levels have just been skyrocketing, pretty much 24 hours a day, forever.
Mm-hmm.
So these are not non-exhaustive sources. You know, it's not like it's finite. You know, you're gonna burn out.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
It doesn't serve you its purpose anymore. It doesn't do its job anymore.
yeah, and this is why people get sick. You get physiological symptoms, and yeah, you burn out physically.
Mhm.
Okay, we've got Donna Johnson is there. Hey, Donna. We've got Claire Louise Hodgson there. Claire says, can narcissists sexually abuse their child? Uh, I I guess so. Claire's certainly someone who's a psychopath, does that, and someone completely devoid of a conscience engages in that horrific behaviour. Someone who's a psychopath is narcissistic. Okay, it goes hand in hand. It's not necessarily the other way around, but yeah, it's certainly possible.
Yeah, you're getting into absolute antisocial behavior, right? From breaking the law to the biggest social crime that you could commit, right?
Yeah,
So it goes beyond narcissism.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay. We've got Gemma there. Gemma says, is there such thing as narcissism by proxy? Hmm. Let me just pick that question to pieces. Is there such thing as narcissism by proxy? Tell me what you think, David. I'm going to think maybe she's like talking about perhaps flying monkeys. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I mean, you look at, I guess if you look at narcissism as, because that's too big of a subject. I mean, narcissism, and then we'd be doing the whole good and bad thing again, right? Because not every single aspect of narcissism is bad or unhealthy. There is minute good parts about narcissism, right?
Yeah,
That's why we don't black and white and split everything. But narcissism by proxy, I'm guessing, is it contagious? We certainly become unhealthier in relationships with people who are highly narcissistic. Yeah, we we
yeah,
we can even uh, you know even have some attributes or gain some narcissistic traits while we're with a narcissist, can't we?
yeah,
We can
absolutely.
we
We can
can
pick up
react to
fleas.
the abuse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, perhaps, but I guess if we look at it in terms of just to make it clear in my mind, we look at Munchausen's by proxy. Okay, so Munchausen's is when someone hurts themselves, makes themselves sick to get attention, whereas Munchausen's by proxy is when they hurt someone else, and most often their children. They'll hurt their children because it gives them, the person that's caring for them, attention. So, is there such thing as narcissism by proxy? So, do we make someone narcissistic to get attention for ourselves? Yeah, it's really hard to know what you kind of mean by that, but certainly looking at it from what the perspective David was coming from, yeah, there's that, I guess that we pick up fleas. We call them fleas when we pick up narcissistic traits because we've had to survive in, the trauma zone. Lay down with a dog, you get fleas. You get narcissistic traits when you hang around them long enough because you have to survive.
Well, a narcissist is a flea, is a parasite, but
And we're
look,
and we're their host. We are their host for the
yeah,
parasite. Yeah, they
yeah.
don't have a
Except
home. They don't survive.
they're not even good at that because they kill you. A parasite doesn't kill you. Um, yeah.
Mm. Okay, moving on. Okay. We got Crystal Stankovic there. Hey, Crystal. Let me just open up your question. Um, Hi, my ex has recently found out I'm ill again and trying to be in contact again and saying he'll help. He didn't help through any of my last treatment for cancer. I feel so stronger than I ever have. But knowing I'm going to be leaving my kids is the hardest thing to deal with. Not sure how I'm meant to prepare the kids. Oh my goodness, Crystal, so sorry that you're going through that. But yeah, happy that you're feeling strong. Please just get lots and lots of support around you. And yeah, wow, how incredibly sad, David.
Very sad. You're brave.
Yeah,
Um,
really brave.
yeah, and I think she was saying something to the fact that she feels strong now, but not sure if she should accept his help, something like that now. And I just want you to be careful. We tend to feel bigger and stronger when we start recovering from these relationships, and that's a lot of times where we tend to go back or let them hurt us again. The bigger and stronger we feel, our ego tends to grow, and we tend to we think more highly of ourselves, and we I don't know. Just be careful. Be
Yeah,
careful accepting help. If he's abused you and hurt you in the past, you don't need his help. If I got that right, I might have gotten
yeah.
that wrong.
Well, my ex. So I'm assuming he's a narcissist. If you're here tonight, Crystal, but um, I guess just remember a narcissist is always, no matter and what is going on for you, is always motivated by their ego and having their ego stroked. So whatever they are doing, it's ego driven. So yeah, I guess get the kids into counselling, make sure they're surrounded by lots and lots of support and they know that they're loved. Yeah,
Good luck.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, we've got Lula Katsikapas is there. Hey Lula, says hello Nova and David from Safety Beach, Melbourne. Love you guys. We're so glad to have you here, Lula. We've got Jackie Walker is there. Hey Jackie. Jackie says, yep, Marion, that's exactly what they do, like a cat and mouse, cruel and nasty. Yep, absolutely. And they will have you thinking that you're the nasty, cruel one, Jackie. And this is classic blame shifting, gaslighting at its finest. And it's incredibly confusing when you're being judged on your behavior by the person who who is allowed or who does not judge themselves and they're allowed to do exactly what they're accusing you of. Terribly confusing. Okay, might just answer a couple more questions before we wrap it up for the night. We got Peggy Toledo is there. Hey Peggy. Peggy says, it's been like 6 months that I haven't been with my narc, and it has given me such a complex that I feel that I'm not going to be good with another man ever. David?
You feel like you're not going to be good, like a good
Good
girlfriend or good
man.
partner. Yeah. Well, I would, before starting a new relationship, learn everything you can about the one you just left, about the one you just exited, because we got to take responsibility for only us, only our feelings, not them. And I think this is, here we are, evidence of judging ourselves, being critical of ourselves. And that's a product of people judging us and criticizing us, and also us judging and criticizing others. How do we stop judging ourselves and criticizing ourselves? As we stop judging and criticizing other people, and we realize that we're all equal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Where we take off from where the abuser left off.
Yep.
They continually judged us throughout the relationship, so we pick up the slack and we continue to judge ourselves based on what our abuser put inside our heads. And this is why the healing process is so important, and to allow yourself to do that work and that self-care before you get into another relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, too many people let others define them and who they are. And we don't do that. We don't ever let somebody else's opinion decide who we are. We define ourselves. We
Yeah,
define ourselves.
exactly. Okay, we got Lisa Marie Ackery is there. Hey, Lisa. Lisa says, thank goodness I don't see it as passionate or stimulating. It was just abuse setting off my adrenal and cortisol, which has left me with an anxiety disorder. I'm so glad that you're seeing it for what it is, and that yeah, you can see that it was abuse, Lisa, and that the problem was not what with you. And you come out of these relationships and think, is there something wrong with me? Am I too dependent? And that I did something to destroy this relationship. The problem wasn't with you. You're traumatized by someone who manipulated you and abused you and made you feel crazy. The crazy making behavior that they exhibit towards you, the gaslighting and the projection. You come out and you wonder if you're the crazy one when it's actually them. They're the one that's I don't know, a few chips short of a happy meal. It's not you. So, but this is something you've got to do the work to I guess um, rewire your way of thinking. So, and you seem to have gotten there, and just need to work on that anxiety disorder, which is the residual effect of that abuse.
Yeah, yeah. Good advice. Reset your brain.
Yeah,
Really. Do everything you can to start over, building new neural networks in your brain and get rid of the old ones.
yeah. Okay, do one more before we say goodbye. We've got Angela Hargrave is there. Hey, Angela. Claire Louise Hodgson is there. Uh, da, 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 da. See if there's anyone I haven't seen yet. We've got Trista Lee Michelson is there. Hey, Trista. Trista says, I need help, please. I left my soon-to-be ex-husband 8 years ago. He stole my 4 kids in 2015 because I started dating another man 3 years after I left him. I got them back in court. He has breached He's breached every order, no form of contact. He has taken my son. I haven't seen him since 2014. And now he has taken one of my daughters. I'm losing it. He's getting away with everything. David?
How is he getting away with it by breaching all the orders? What do these orders mean? Don't they mean something or not? No?
Yeah. Obviously, yeah, they're not being actioned. The breaches aren't being actioned. And I don't know, I don't know where you are in the world, but gosh, yeah, I would be going getting some more legal advice, and yeah,
Sounds like he's
could be,
digging himself a hole. Yeah, that you just have to let him dig himself and bury himself in. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. Good luck. I'm awfully sorry. I
yeah,
just can't imagine how much worse all of this is when you have to deal with this afterwards, after the relationship is over and you have children.
mm,
Awful.
mm, yeah, uh, yeah. Gosh, go to the police. If he's doing something illegal, then you get a restraining order. You protect yourself. Get the kids that you have got in your care, get them into counselling. I guess you've got to do all that you can in your home, but you can't control outside of the law. You can't control what goes on in his home. This is one of the sad, despicable, things that is just terrible to deal with when you've been in a relationship with a nut.
Yeah, get as much support as you can. Professional, friends, family, whatever you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we might just say a couple of quick highs before we wrap it up for the night. We've got Susanna Petskovska is there. Hey, Susanka. We've got Monique Anderson is there. Hey, Monique. Well, that's all I can see. So sorry for the guys that just didn't come up on the screen, and I apologise if we didn't get around to answering your questions. But please come back next week. So, David, was there anything else you wanted to just quickly say about about, I guess, yeah, that the whole judgment thing and why narcs do it.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I've probably said this already, but the way we stop this self-criticism and self-judgment is stop judging other people, stop criticizing other people, and we don't allow people to judge us. Because that's what we do, right? People will try, but we allow it. We accept their judgment. We accept other people's opinions of us, and we cannot. And that's why I don't accept people's opinions, whether it's good or bad. I decide who I am
Yeah.
completely. And you guys need to do that. Absolutely. You define yourself, start actualizing yourself. And that's why we fall more, the more or the less relationship we have with ourselves, the more we um, fall victims of people's judgment and we listen to people's opinions. So let's stop criticizing others, stop criticizing ourselves, and start accepting people and discovering uniqueness in others by discovering the uniqueness of ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Something you haven't been able to do for a long time if you've been,
Mhm.
in that relationship with the
Yeah,
narcissist.
absolutely can't. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay,
Optimism
David.
and positivity.
Yeah. Definitely need some positivity in our lives. Okay, thank you once again for joining us. I guess I'll see you back in 2 weeks. Give you a
Yep.
break next week. Let's have a rest.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, thanks, David. Everyone, please do yourself a favor and subscribe to David's channel. David, can you put it in one of the comments? Because I had a few people asking last week what the name was. Um, it's called Damar's Coaching. So please subscribe to his channel. David puts out lots of information that will be very, very helpful for you in your recovery. Yeah, David, thanks so much. Love having you here to co-host the show. And David will be back in 2 weeks, but I will be back next Tuesday night. You've got me every Tuesday, and these live streams are on every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Brisbane time. So we've just had daylight savings come in Australia, David, which is the biggest pain in the butt. I just have to. I have to think. I have to think about times all the time, and it's really just a pain. So yeah, everyone who's not in Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, all of you guys, make sure that you adjust your clocks because otherwise you'll miss it. You don't want to do that. So David, I will see you, or we will see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoy doing these videos. So thanks for inviting me and thanks for everybody for supporting and watching. We go through a lot of work to do these videos. So if you guys could, just by supporting us a little bit, by voting and commenting and subscribing to the channels, things like this, it really it supports our
And,
effort. Thank you, all
yeah,
of you.
and
So if you
sharing.
can, support Nova. Support Nova.
And it's sharing. That's a big way. You can I guess help us guys by sharing it wherever you can. Private support groups, public, your pages if you can. Just little things like that can help get the information out to help other people and make narcissistic abuse more visible to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
All right, David. Thank you, and I'll see you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Good night, Australia. Bye.
See you, David. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I love having David here. David joins us every second week, guys. Every second Tuesday night. Every single Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Brisbane, Queensland, Australia time. Okay, I just wanted to thank you all for your support and for joining in tonight. I've had an amazing night. Like David, I love doing these live streams and being able to help you in any way that we can. We don't always have all the answers, but this is what we do. So we like to think that we help you in some way. So yeah, thank you so much for your support back to us. If you would like to have a one-on-one private counseling session with me, as I said earlier on in the show, please just inbox me here at Brighter Outlook, and I would love to be able to support you in your healing. If you're in Brisbane, you can come straight to my office here at Brighter Outlook and see me face to face. Or if you're anywhere else in the world, in the United States, in the UK, South Africa, New Zealand, no matter where you are, or anywhere outside of Brisbane in Australia, I Skype. I counsel people all over the world via Skype and telephone. So it's just a matter of working out the difference in time. And I'm very used to getting up early to talk to you guys who are in different time zones in the world. So thank you once again. I'll see you all next Tuesday night. Have a wonderful week. Remember your worth as always, and then add tax. Bye, everyone.